A simple woman kicked out of car dealership. Next day, her billionaire husband's Rolls Royce arrives. The bright lights of the luxury car dealership gleamed off the polished surfaces of high-end sports cars. The air inside was filled with the scent of leather and the faint hum of whispered conversations among wealthy customers. Amidst this atmosphere of exclusivity, a woman named Emily stepped inside. She was dressed simply, a plain beige sweater, worn jeans, and comfortable sneakers. Her hair was neatly tied back, and she carried a modest handbag over her shoulder. She wasn't flashy, but there was a quiet grace about her. The humiliation. Emily walked up to a sleek, jet-black sports car parked in the center of the showroom. Her eyes sparkled with admiration as she gently ran her fingers along its surface. A well-dressed salesman, Richard, approached her with a plastic smile. "Can I help you?" he asked, his tone polite but condescending. "Yes," Emily replied, excitement in her voice. "This car is beautiful. I'd like to know more about it." Richard raised an eyebrow, quickly scanning her from head to toe. The corners of his mouth curled up in amusement. "Ma'am," he chuckled, "this car costs $500,000. Maybe I can show you something more affordable." Emily stood her ground, unfazed. "I'd still like to hear about this one," she said. But Richard wasn't interested in wasting time. He glanced at his colleagues, who had started watching the conversation with smirks on their faces. One of them muttered, "Another window shopper." Richard sighed. "Look," he said, voice dripping with arrogance, "we don't usually entertain people who can't afford these cars. We have a strict policy of serving serious buyers only. Maybe try a used car dealership across town." Emily's cheeks turned red, not from embarrassment, but from anger and disappointment. She had never been treated this way before. She looked Richard straight in the eyes. "You shouldn't judge people so quickly," she said firmly. But Richard just smirked. "Security, please escort this lady out." Two security guards approached, their hands gesturing toward the door. Emily didn't argue. With one last glance at the car she had admired, she turned and walked out of the dealership, humiliated. The next day, a Rolls-Royce arrives. The following afternoon, the entire dealership was bustling with customers and staff. Richard, still feeling smug about the previous day, was boasting about his ability to spot time wasters. Just then, the sound of a powerful engine echoed outside. A sleek white Rolls-Royce Phantom slowly pulled up in front of the dealership. The chauffeur, dressed in a sharp black suit, stepped out and opened the door. Out came Emily. This time she wasn't alone. A tall, dignified man stepped out behind her. He was wearing an elegant designer suit, his presence commanding attention. He was none other than William Harrington, a billionaire businessman known for his wealth and generosity. The staff at the dealership froze. Richard's smirk vanished. His hands grew clammy as realization hit him. Emily wasn't just anybody. She was the wife of one of the wealthiest men in the city. The dealership manager rushed forward, bowing slightly. "Mr. Harrington, what a pleasure to have you here," he stammered. "How can we assist you today?" William handed the manager an envelope, his expression cold. "This is for you." The manager opened it. His face paled. Inside was a written complaint about how his wife had been treated the day before. Attached was a bank check, but not for a purchase. The note read, "I was considering buying 5 of your luxury cars for my company's executives, but after yesterday's incident, I have decided to take my business elsewhere. My wife wanted to buy a car with her own money, but your staff judged her by her appearance. Never judge a book by its cover. You just lost a multi-million-dollar deal." Gasps filled the showroom. Richard's face drained of color as he realized his mistake. He turned to Emily, desperation in his voice. "Ma'am, I had no idea. Please, let me make it right." Emily smiled politely but shook her head. "It's not about the money," she said. "It's about respect, and you lost mine." William looked at her with pride and gestured toward the door. "Let's go," he said. As Emily and her husband stepped back into the Rolls-Royce, the dealership staff stood in stunned silence, realizing the million-dollar mistake they had just made. As the Rolls-Royce drove away, Richard knew he had learned a painful lesson, one he would never forget. Moral of the story: never judge someone by their appearance. Respect should be given to everyone, not just those who look wealthy. You never know who you're dealing with,